Shalom, saints. Well, Passover and unleavened bread are right around the corner, so I thought for today I would teach you how to make tortillas, which are my version of unleavened bread for these feast days. So my recipe does not have any leaven in it. Here's my dough. The way I make this will make about 20 tortillas about this size, which is probably about 12 inches diameter-ish, 10 to 12, maybe it's a 10 inch, I'm not really sure. So this takes 4 cups of flour. I just use regular all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1.5 cups of warm to hot water, pretty warm water. And then all you do is you mix it with a spoon until it comes together. You'll still have some flour on the bottom. Then you knead it with your hands until it all comes together and you get it into a ball. And then you let it sit for about 5 minutes with a towel over it. And then you're ready to roll them out. And then I just keep the towel on it so it'll stay kind of moist in there and it won't dry out. So once you take off a clump of dough, it's going to be, I don't know, about a little bit less than golf ball size, or maybe about golf ball size. You roll it together into a ball shape. Get some flour on your surface. And I like to use this kind of a rolling pin. This is easier to roll it flat, I think, than the traditional ones. So then you just squish it down so it looks kind of ballish. And then you roll it out. Now, I don't know if I'm going to, let me try to roll it this way so I don't get caught in the camera here. So you just keep turning it, and if it's getting sticky, then you do this and turn it around. And then you just keep turning it until you get it kind of round. And it doesn't need to be perfectly round. We just kind of work with it until we get it the shape we want. And this one, since I already started rolling it and I stuffed it back together, it's going to be a little harder to roll out. So we'll just keep working it until we get a nice round shape. And then once we get these in a round shape, I fry them with no oil on a cast iron skillet until the bottom of it starts to get a little bit brown, and you'll start to see little bubbles, air bubbles pop up into it. And then you'll flip it over and then fry the other side. This one's done. And then you'll fry the other side. And then, you know, just kind of place them on a plate till you're done. And this is my stack for frying. We'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay, so we have made a few tortillas. So we're going to start frying them. I'll show you how we fry them. This cast iron skillet has been preheating. I put it on high for a few minutes, so hopefully it's warm enough. Let's check it out. Okay, so we have it here. I'm going to fry it for a few minutes on each side. Let's see. So you see some little air bubbles here. Yeah, you can see them. You see the little air bubbles, air pockets up here. This is where you'll start to see some browning when you flip it. It's not ready just yet, but we'll check it in a minute or so. So it's not quite ready. It's not getting brown just yet. Okay, let's see. Not quite. I'm gonna flip it anyway. And then it's probably because my skillet is not completely preheated. But once we heat it up enough, it should get brown fairly quickly. Okay, this is almost done. I'm gonna flip it one more time just because the pan wasn't quite heated the first time. But you see how these nice little bubbles have formed? That tells you that, oh yeah, they're starting to get big. Okay, so we'll flip it again. See, this is, and it's starting to puff a little, and you see how these edges got a little brown right here. Okay, I'm gonna call that good and put another one on so you can see it again now that the skillet is hotter. Okay. Let's see if we can get in there a little better. Okay, so you see the little bubbles forming. Oh, you don't want to turn the light on so you can see a little better. I don't know if that's better or worse. So there are little browned areas on here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's sort of browned here. So that's enough on the first side, and it's starting to puff up. So once it's puffed a good amount, let's check it out. Yeah, this one looks good too. So that's it. And so you just keep frying them. I usually do, I don't want to, you don't want to do too many of the tortillas at once and just leave them in your plate together, because they will stick if your house is too hot, even with flour on it. But if your house isn't super hot, then you should be able to leave a smallish stack, fry them up. If you have a helper, your helper can fry while you roll. Okay, so here we are frying our last tortilla. As you can see, my pan is nice and hot, and there's a lot of bubbles forming in there. And I will flip it soon. Yep, it's starting to look very brown. So I'll flip it, and they start to puff up nicely. I'm going to turn off my heat since it's cast iron. I must have rolled them a little smaller than usual, or maybe thinner than usual, because I got 25 today. Usually it only makes about 20. So here's my stack of tortillas, and I measured them. They're between 9 and 10 inches, so there's about 25 in here. There was a little small one, so they were actually 26, but the children ate it already. So there you go. Nice and pliable. You can roll whatever burritos into it, just eat it plain, however you want to eat them. So enjoy.